It's the last day of the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship in this group. Faughs against St Oliver. Plunkett Eoghan Ruadh is our featured live game this afternoon. It's really quite simple. Whoever wins will join Ballyboden in the next round. If it's a draw, Plunkett's will go through on scoring difference. With me for this game is former Ballyboden manager and now Westmeath senior hurling manager Joe Fortune. Joe, how are you?
Good, Oisin, thanks. Look, great to be here. 2nd of October. The month ahead now will decide who's going to be county champions in Dublin here, senior hurling wise. So I think the two games we have ahead, like you said, whoever wins goes through, and whoever loses then is booking a weekend away next weekend.
That is the same situation for Coola and St Bridget's, as Joe has mentioned. We've got that live a little bit later on at 5 o'clock. First up, it is Faughs against Plunkett's. Let's take a look at the Plunkett's team. No changes to the team that has been named during the week. Ben McSweeney, an exciting young player. They look to him. Cian Boland at centre forward. He is a man that a lot will go through. His brother Oisín is in the corner. Niall Arthur brings great experience. There's a nice balance to that Plunkett's team, Joe.
There is, yeah. And look, they were impressive at times during Boden in that game that I saw earlier in the season. Look, a lot goes through Cian. You're right. When Cian's on form, he's just unmarkable at times. But I've been very impressed with some of those minor and 20s they have coming through as well. Killian Hayes, Arthur the last day I thought was quiet. He went off early as well. But the likes of Jack O'Shea as well, they've got good talent coming through, and I think it was Dotsy who said the day that they were playing the first day, they would have been disappointed maybe with the first day's performance against Boden. Well,
Ben McSweeney, who we've mentioned, has already played in one county final this year. That, of course, the minor from last season, but played this year. He was outstanding in that game. There's a couple of good young hurlers in that Plunkett squad, and no doubt they'll feature throughout the rest of the afternoon. Jack O'Shea, who you mentioned, is still a minor. He's a very decent footballer as well. He's a dual star. Let's talk about Faughs and their team. You'll notice that O'Mahony and Mostyn have been named. However, they do not start. They've been replaced by Ronan Hennessy and Jack McVeigh. They're two good players, but no doubt about it, Mostyn and O'Mahony are big losses. And that combined with the fact that Chris Bennett hasn't played all championship because I think he's travelling, they're huge losses to Faughs.
Yeah, look, we mentioned the last day, Bennett was just a pivotal part of that team for the last, 5-6 years. But I watched Carl O'Mahony the last day on frees in particular, and he was just unerring on his frees. He's a really good young player. I'm surprised Kieran Brennan's not in. I thought Kieran Brennan did really well the last day when he was there, and he's not listed to start, is he?
No, he's not.
So again, look, it's a huge loss for Johnny Greville and for Faughs in particular. It's just, they're going to be up against it, I think. But I was really impressed. Up to 40 minutes the last day, there was only 3 points, 4 points in it against Boden, and then that last kind of 10-15 minutes a toll on them. But look, I think great game ahead. It'll be a serious battle, I think, for the first 10 minutes.
Well, the meeting of the captains around the middle there, Emmett McKenna of Faughs and the goalkeeper for Plunkett's Bill McCormick, who actually came up from Tipperary. I think he played a bit of underage for Tip as well, so he has a very, very decent pedigree, and we've seen it in the last couple of years how important goalkeepers are.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I was really delighted at that stage as well with Boden. I had Gary Maguire at one stage, and what a keeper, and then Finn McGarry as well. It's such an important part now. And if you watch the Faughs keeper the last day against Boden, he at times looked like a quarterback. He came out and he used that distribution really well to the 5 and 7, and they also retracted a 14 the last day. So look, I think we're in for a good game here. The two boys will be there'll be big losses for Faughs, but two hugely traditional clubs as well. They won't lie down, I don't think. Certainly not for the first half.
Hard to believe that the Faughs goalkeeper Eddie Hogan is in his first year playing senior. He looks to the manner born, doesn't he?
He does. And I think that comes down to the kind of the culture that seems to be in that group at the moment. They're a young, aspiring club. They want to get back. Look, we know the history themselves of where they were in Dublin hurling, and that's where they want to go. And like I said, I was impressed the first day for that first 40-45 minutes. So look, it's all ahead of them now today without the two boys. But I've watched the warm-ups as well, and the two warm-ups have been quite vocal. Plunkett seemed really, really up for this as well, so I'm sure Derek Brennan has them well warned about what's ahead. Whoever loses has gone home and done.
Beautiful day for hurling as well. A slight breeze blowing into the golf course end, but the pitch in good condition despite the amount of games that have been played on it, and the weather certainly playing ball as well, Joe. No excuses for either team.
No, absolutely not. And look, this pitch is a credit to the backroom staff that are here in Parnell Park as always. As soon as you drive in the gate there with Noel Murphy and so on, they put so much into the surroundings and so much into the sod that's there. So it's a lot of games in the last few weeks, but look, it's looking great there today. It's hard to be, it's a hard place to be without Parnell Park on an October day for championship. Sure, where else would you rather be?
In as much as we can, we'll keep you up to date with everything else that's happening today and throughout the rest of the afternoon. Obviously with hurling, it can be hard to take your eyes off it, but we'll keep the information coming through. In this group, it's pretty much all on this game. Whoever wins goes through, and if it's a draw, Plunkett's will go through on scoring difference. So how you lost against Ballyboden and what you scored against Ballyboden and in the other game could count for a lot as well. And it's something we have been saying throughout the competition on Dubs TV, that there's no such thing as a bad loss, or you can make a loss a little worse by scoring a few extra points or getting a goal or two and narrowing the gap, because scoring difference might make a difference. For Plunkett's today, if it's a draw, it will be the difference. Bit of a scramble on. We'll see this early doors. Players battling for possession. That dirty ball is so important. Getting his hand on the ball now is Jack McVeigh. Jack McVeigh got it outside to David Croke. David Croke was blocked down brilliantly. Great piece of skill there by the Plunkett's defence. Can they play it out? Yes, they can. It's Conor Scully. Scully with the crossfielder. There's plenty of space there. Just got away from Tom Cullen, but he might be able to regather it. Stuck to him there is Nagel. Cullen has a little look up. It's a dipping ball. It'll break kindly. Niall Arthur, so experienced, former Clare under 21. Niall Arthur juggles it. Manages to get it outside to Sean Clerkin, who lets one go. Clerkin didn't catch it right. First wide of the game.
Yeah, Arthur took a lot out of that there as well. Like, you know, he probably could have broke the tackle, but again, go back to the last day against Bowden. I was so impressed with that Faughs defence, how they were set up, and they battled and fought for everything. So a good start for them defensively.
Very good start from them. Ball breaks. Who's going to break two? Faughs look to be a little bit outnumbered there. He's lost his stick, has Fergal Heavey. Coming in to help him out is James O'Brien. James O'Brien getting it forward by any means necessary. Now it's McVeigh. McVeigh off the woodwork. Still there for Faughs. Can they get the goal through Nangle? He'll settle for the point, but he's hit it wide.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Like, after great work there as well, and McVeigh, there's a great turn of pace in some of those Faughs forwards as well. But you know, you need that end product after all the hard work.
Nagel will still be disappointed. I know there was pressure on him, but he will be desperately disappointed not to have either tested the keeper or just popped it over. Ball slips out of the hand there of Neil Bennett. Kicking it forward is Brian McDonald. Brian McDonald with those luminous boots. Oh, comes off the woodwork. Faughs try and battle to get the slitter back, and they've won that particular battle. Well, if this game continues as it starts, we're in for a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, Mooney was no fool as a ref there as well. Like, you know, there was a bit of fall inside, but he was wise to that.
Shaw tries to drop it in on top of Croke. Shaw, who's played inter-county hurling with Carlow. It's one back, and coming away with it is Cian Boland, unmistakable in that blue and white helmet, or black and white helmet. Boland back inside. Conor Scully. It's dropped. It's really, really frantic. I don't think the game can continue at this pace. We're still waiting for the first score, and we're still waiting. That was a really good win of the possession. Kevin O'Gorman has something that we haven't seen a whole pile of in this game. A bit of time. Swept up again. Paddy Morrissey is back there. Of the Morrisseys from Limerick. His brothers both winning All-Irelands last year. Launching it now is
Great
James
score.
O'Brien. It looks good. And that's because it is good. It's the first score of the game. Really well taken by James O'Brien. Fantastic strike from the Dublin under-20.
And again, look where the keeper came from. Like I said to you before it started, like, he's in that quarterback role. You know, O'Shea was smart to stay out of the sixth position, give it back to the keeper, and it was popped out. Great score.
O'Brien from Faughs royalty. His father Carl and grandfather Paddy both won county titles with this great club. They'll worry about county titles maybe the next day if they can get through this. Faughs have to win, remember. Paddy Morrissey. Peter Shaw taking off. He's so good with the ball. McKenna. Croke will try and get it on the second attempt. Stuck to him there was David Phelan. That's really well taken by McVeigh. He's still going. Couldn't get his shot away. Couldn't get a clean strike on it. Boland is back to sweep it up again. He just loves hard work, Boland. Faughs have it back. Conor Foley inside. Letting it go is Peter Shaw. Ronan Hennessy, I beg your pardon, to Peter Shaw. And Peter Shaw puts it over. Faughs with two well-won scores, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, great score, Rush. And look, Keane is very deep there. You know, like, he's one of Dublin's top forwards, and you know, he's sitting in around that 40 there as well. And you know, I think if Plunkett's are getting on that board, it's great defending again.
What a catch that was. It's gathered by Heavey. I'm not sure if that was a shot or if he was trying to drop it into Croke. Either way, it didn't work out. Here's Cian Boland. Tries a crossfielder. It's into a bit of a crowd. Faughs defended well. Good battling, but again, Faughs win it back. They're winning all those kind of 50-50s. They're winning all those rucks. Emmett McKenna doesn't catch his hand pass right, but he gets it on the second attempt. Never gave up on that one. Trying to shake off Killian Hayes. Down the line it goes from Ronan Hennessy. Again, it's a misaimed ball into the forwards. Phelan to McCormack, the Tipperary man, letting this one go long. Well, longish. That works out for Plunkett's. Making the run inside is MacDonald. He doesn't receive it. They're looking for their first score. It's Ben McSweeney. And it's a good shot from Ben McSweeney. It's a first score for Plunkett's.
Yeah, fine score for the young man, and you know he's in physically great shape as well. You can see him there, like for a young guy that's coming through. So great ball out and a great score off his left.
And the manager Derek Brennan would be very, very happy with that one. Tom Cullen lets fly. It's 3-on-3 inside. It breaks kindly for Clerkin. He still has an awful lot of work to do. He's trying to shake off Kenny. Clerkin took his point, but judging by the pace of the shot, maybe he was thinking of goal.
Yeah, when that ball goes inside, it looked dangerous. Like Faughs are fighting very hard inside, but when the ball goes inside to Clerkin, like he does look dangerous. And again, he probably had that in his mind there as well.
He's another one of the dual players out there today. His brother Neil also in the squad. Croak came out to meet it. He's got a good hand, but he couldn't keep that one in play. If he gets the right kind of ball today, David Croak, he could be a real goal threat.
Absolutely. It's intriguing to watch how they defensively set up Faughs here as well. They've dropped, obviously they had inside, they dropped a 6, but now they seem to have dropped a second one as well to kind of curtail that ball that's going through the centre. Obviously that's why Keane is there distribution wise, and he's pinging the ball inside to Clerkin. So they've obviously, Greville has seen something there where he's put back a second 6 as well.
Killian Hayes, a cousin of the Bolins. That's a good line ball. What can Arthur do with this? As soon as any Plunkett's player gets the ball in or around there, they are pounced upon by green and gold jerseys. He's trying to break through there, Jack O'Shea. It's not easy. It's opened up a little bit here. That's a fantastic save. Might come back to the corner forward, Clerkin. No, it's defended well. It's spilled out over the line. It's a 65, but it could have been far, far worse for Faughs. Sean Clerkin letting rip, but a good save from Eddie Hogan.
Yeah, what a save, and again stood up nice and strong, and you know that hand pass was smart over the top of the head as well. Clerkin hit the ball well, but great save.
Well, we're going to see some top keepers today. Eddie Hogan is among that company. Later on we'll see Sean Brennan and Alan Nolan, both of whom have played for Dublin. If Eddie Hogan keeps doing what he's doing, I imagine he'll get his goal in the county squad as well. Taking the free is Niall Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur was quiet the last day, but you know, this is important for him now here, just to settle himself as well. Like I said, that ball goes inside. Clerkin looks dangerous. You know, I see Oisin Boland inside as well there, but this is a big one for Arthur just to get him on the score sheet.
This would be the first point from a dead ball situation. 4 points so far, all from play. And that doesn't remain the case, because now we have had a point from a dead ball situation. Niall Arthur tapping over the 65. Well, do you ever really tap over a 65? The fact that it's called a 65 suggests it's not a tap over. But from that kind of central position, he would have been desperately disappointed not to score. Not an overly strong breeze. It might break here for Faughs. Just gets away from the runner there. I think that was James O'Brien who couldn't get there, and it's cleaned up by Boland. Now it's into the lova of Killian Hayes. They're not afraid to deliver a long ball, are they, Plunkett's?
No, they see again that 2 inside, but I think Faughs have been smarter.
Clerkin over the top, looking for Oisin Boland, who has been fouled, and it's a free in.
Yeah, pushing the back.
I'm sure Sean O'Brien, the cornerback, was thinking, well, what else could I do there? Sean O'Brien, who's still only a Leaving Cert student, transferred in from St Anne's 4 or 5 years ago. He's been a real addition to Faughs.
Yeah, and O'Shea, like you see him, look, he's had a couple of these lads as well at 20 level and minor level as well. Like he's smart, he's talking to the defence all the time, and look, when you give away a free like that, it'll be disappointing because they're working so hard in that 5, 6 and 7 spot.
2 in a row for Niall Arthur, and Plunkett's lead by 2 very early in the game. Remember, we'd love to hear from you. You can get us on Twitter at DubGAOfficial, hashtag #GoAheadDSHA. Swept up by Kevin O'Gorman. He was fouled. It's a free out. He's a hardy character, O'Gorman. It takes a lot to put him down. It takes a lot to rattle him.
It does, but McVeigh is a big boy there as well. Like for a young guy coming through, like he's very physically strong, and like Faughs are 2 points down and they've worked really, really hard. Now it's early in the game, but like Plunkett's Derek Brennan will be happy. A couple of points up, an opportunity here now as well to get a score. So they'll have to be happy after the initial couple of minutes from Faughs.
A tip man won the free, Kevin O'Gorman from Thurlasars. It will be another tip man to take the free, Bill McCormack, another man from Thurlasars actually. Goes wide. Second wide of the game for Plunkett from a shooting opportunity. That's one of those kind of shot to nothing frees though, isn't it? You don't get too upset about missing those.
No, but it's a fair strike of the ball.
Oh, that's
again.
A good interception by Jack O'Shea. Not afraid to take defenders on. Shoveled it out to Brian McDonald, who got it inside to full forward Ben McSweeney. It opens up a little bit for McSweeney. Good hand pass. Can they finish off this move? Oh, fresh air shot. Hogan was brave coming out. Trying to get it back into his hand is Niall Arthur. And away it will go from Sean O'Brien. Intercepted in midfield. Brilliantly batted down by Killian Hayes. Back inside by Boland. Hayes runs onto it. Back outside to Boland. He will shoot from all angles. And that's why. That's an exquisite score from Oisín Boland.
Yeah, Oisín's a good player. Like a couple of years he was kind of dogged with injuries there. Obviously brother of Keane as well. I had Oisín in DIT, and at the time in whatever 14, 15 he was bouncing off the ground. So he's been unlucky with injuries, but that's a good score to settle him.
A bit of a gap has opened up, just 3 points, but Faughs will want to score pretty soon. Fionn Boland, another one of the Boland brothers. Back it goes to McCormack. Nice ball over the top to Cian Boland. Winning it well was Ben McSweeney. Nice turn. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. He was fouled by Neil Bennett. They're not afraid to drop in ball in front of the forward line and let them battle one-on-one, Plunketts, are they? Yeah,
but look, McSweeney is a great turn of pace there as well, and Keane is not hitting aimless ball. Like he's really looking every time, and he's spraying that ball across the kind of 10 or 12 position, and that's a joy for McSweeney to be running onto. But they love taking the man on, and look, I've been impressed so far by them. I have to say, now their physicality and their athleticism, Plunkett's they're definitely up for this one.
Niall Archer to take it. He's already scored 2 from place balls, 1 a 65, 1 a free. Faughs still have a man down. Morenos Plunkett says one of the defenders, not quite sure who. And that one's tapped over by Arthur. 3 for him and a 4-point lead for his team.
Yeah, Faughs are going to need a score soon here now, because they've gone a double 11 here now as well to try and be able to clock the next puck out down that central channel. But they're going to need a score. They're 4 points down now after a really good start, so I'm sure the sideline are going to be watching how they get back. But you can see they're after pulling a straight line kind of set up here for the next puck out.
Plenty of movement in around the forwards for Faughs. Dancing around is James O'Brien, Kieran Nagel running around as well. Croke is the aim for this, but the target was not picked out. It is kept alive by Heavey. Well, he got to it, but he couldn't keep it in play. David Phelan will hit this one out of the bunker, but doesn't hit it very far. David Phelan, unfortunately for him. I'm not sure why, but his nickname is Toast.
I'd wonder sometimes where you get your information from. Listen, if we can keep away from the junior hurling stories, we'll be happy enough.
Let's clarify, Junior F. I remember once having the temerity to step up to, I think, C's or B's, and I wasn't long there before I said, no, I'm going back down to F. Anyway, Faughs looking for a score, which they desperately need, but won't get now. It's fumbled. Croke might pounce on that. No, it was defended well in the end. It might have been touched along the ground, but the referee either didn't spot it, or maybe that's not what happened. Slips out of the hand there of Jack O'Shea. but he doesn't give up on it. That's exactly what you want from your players. Here's Tom Cullen. That's going to drop inside. Oh, so close. I think it was Ben McSweeney who got his stick to it, but he couldn't get it on target.
Jeez, what a ball by Cullen as well. Like, if he meant it, but like, what a ball inside, and very unlucky not to end up in a goal.
It was Ben McSweeney who was so unlucky. He ran after it. He stretched his arm out, and between the combination of arm and hurley, I'd say there was about maybe 4 metres, but okay, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. He almost got there. He was unlucky that didn't go on target. Conor O'Shea puts it forward. Son of Eamon, turning his crook. His team needs something. Can he provide it? Plunkett's just have too many numbers back there. That's a brilliant rob of possession there by Conor Foley, or I beg your pardon, Ronan Hennessy. Hennessy is free if he can get the ball back. That's not the option they go with. Launching the shot is Kieran Nagel, and hitting it wide, unfortunately for Faughs, the second wide.
Yeah, Neil Bennett did really well there from the a really good puck out by Faughs, good ball inside, but they're just, look, you have to give it to Plunkett as well. Like, there's a lot of really strong tackling and physicality in that half back line, so, but Faughs need to get a score soon.
That's a great catch. Fantastic stuff from Jack O'Shea. Laid it off brilliantly for Niall Arthur, who does the needful and taps it over. His first score from play. He's 4th overall, and it's a 5-point game as we approach the water break. In fact, we're at the water break, so we'll have a look at some of the highlights of the match so far. But Plunkett's, I'm going to say, started slow in the first 2 or 3 minutes, but then they kind of more or less took it over.
Yeah, look, you have to give it to Plunkett's. Like, after that kind of couple of points from Faughs at the start, like some really good scores there, like a long distance score off the right hand side, like in around midfield, and again the second one was quite similar, you know, out from around kind of 65 yards out. So Faughs and management would have been really happy with that initial start, but look, Plunkett's got a good hold on the game then, and you know, we questioned why Keane Boland was inside, but you see the distribution, it's coming at a 40-degree angle all the time for that half forward line to run onto. But young McSweeney looks lively, young Clerkin in there as well. Like, you know, you have to be really impressed with some of the scores they've got.
Well, Plunkett's at one stage scored 6 points on the bounce without reply, and that is what has them in the lead. 7 points to 2 against Faughs. In the other game, by the way, in the group, Ballyboden absolutely cruising in O'Toole Park against Scully Connell. 2-6 to no score is the latest there. So Ballyboden, well, I think they were always going to top the group regardless of what happened here today, but they're going to go into the quarterfinals with 3 wins in a row in the group. Who will join them in the quarterfinals? That is what is to be decided here today. Later on, by the way, it's Bridget's against Coola, and that, like this, is a winner takes it all encounter. A draw somewhat complicates things, and we'll clarify that when it gets closer to the time. Here, a draw, well, quite simply puts Plunkett's through. At the moment, they're looking good though for the win. Faughs, who started the game without Liam Mostyn and Carlo Mahoney, 2 big losses, and of course they were without Chris Bennett coming into today. Those are 3 players that no team, I think, in the Dublin Club Championship or any other championship would be better without, if that makes sense. Here's Crook. That's a good pass. Can they get a score?
Yeah.
They can. McVeigh. That's a good response by Faughs.
Yeah, I'd say management look at a few harsh words at that quarter break there as well, that they were getting a lot of ball inside, but forwards just weren't being, I suppose, dynamic enough and hard enough on the running, the hard work. So that's a good start to them.
Well, we mentioned the players that aren't here. McVeigh replaced one of them. He comes with a good pedigree, has played a bit of underage with Dublin. Into the hand of McKenna. This is good pacey stuff from Faughs. Joe Kenny. That's really well gathered under pressure. McVeigh. That's 2 in a row for him. 2 excellent scores as well.
Yeah, big hit by Boland out on the right hand side there as well, left hand side of the field. But look, that's a good start. But again, it's a carbon copy of the last day we were here. They got the first 2 scores after every single quarter when we were here. Can they put the third one in place now just to kind of get rid of that?
Bill McCormack. That's a really great catch. Brilliant stuff from Jack O'Shea. An even better offload. Brian MacDonald fumbled and got it back. Just passed it in behind Killian Hayes. Getting the block in there was Conor Scully. Good catch. Brilliant work again by MacDonald. This time he's fouled and it's a free in. He's hard to handle, isn't he, Brian McDonald, the number 12 for Plunkett?
He is, and again, like we go back to that half forward line, they're physically strong men. You've mentioned it a couple of times there as well. Like they're well able to win their own ball in the air, and they're well able to take their own man on. And look, I think Chris was right there. Like pull to the ground, and it's a yellow card now as well for Peter Shaw.
Peter Shaw, who had great success while playing for Carlow. Niall Arthur, who's looking for success while playing for Plunkett. Over it goes. Excellent strike. His third from a free, his fifth overall.
Yeah, when he's on song, he's on song. He obviously had a couple of years without tools there as well, and himself and the brother were quite dangerous, but he just wasn't in it the last day, but he's certainly on song today from frees.
Eddie Hogan goes long. Faughs certainly have a goal threat if they can move the ball into Croke, but at the moment he's an isolated figure. That's a good win of possession by McKenna. Then it was lost. Chasing after it here is Killian Hayes. Hayes has a look up. It's another long delivery, and once again a forward out in front. It's an excellent take from Niall Arthur, and it's matched by a brilliant finish, his second from play.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you go to a video analysis session this week with Plunkett, I'd be looking straight at Tom Cullen's interception there. The work he did for that ball was pinged inside, and a great score again by Niall Arthur.
Tom Cullen allegedly is one of the best motivators in this Plunkett's group. He leads by example as well. He works incredibly hard. Faughs are in behind here. There's a goal on and they really need one. They'll have to settle for the point. But Plunkett will be disappointed with how they got opened up there by a simple enough ball. The runner getting in behind and taking his score well. James O'Brien with his second.
You see the pace they have, Oisin, when they get that ball. Like O'Brien was very, very pacey against Bowden the last day as well. So get that ball to him, and it did open like the sea there,
It seems like we've been praising Plunkett for most of the game, yet they're only 4 points up. So Faughs still very much in it. Conor O'Shea, originally from Galway but of a Tipperary family. Kicked forward into space, good ball. Shoveled out wide. Launching it now is Conor O'Shea. Just goes over Croke, but he hasn't given up on it. Bill McCormack comes out to meet it. Rolls it into the path of Boland. He's in such great shape, Boland, isn't he? Boland trying to escape the tackle. He does get out of the tackle. Pass inside. Moved on by Nagel into the hand of Hayes.
Has the advantage anyway, so.
Yeah. It was sent wide by McKenna, I think, at the end, but the free was coming. And it will be Niall Arthur who'll take the free. Another fine strike from Niall Arthur. His fourth free of the game, and by my reckoning his 7th point so far. He's got 4 frees, a 65 and 2 from play. A slip there from Killian Hayes, but he still won the ball. A good old fashioned pull along the ground, followed by a second one from Cullen, but it was blocked well by Neil Bennett. McDonald trying to wrap up his player. That's Emmett McKenna. McKenna got it out of the tackle to Conor O'Shea. Conor O'Shea from right out the country.
Some score.
That's a monster score from Conor O'Shea.
Yeah, they need that as well. Like they need that bit of leadership now. There's only 4 points, like you said. Like we've given a lot of credit at times there to Plunkett's and their work rate, but Arthur seems to make it look really easy. Keane again is an out ball here for a puck out.
Boland. He'll take on all comers, getting away from McVeigh. Great run from Boland, but Peter Shaw stuck to him. Boland regathered, got it to McKenna. It was O'Shea who moved it on, and then the shot was wide.
Yeah, great run by Keane there as well. Look, athleticism, just he epitomises what it means to be in that type of intercounty shape. But again, he'd want that end product after all the hard work.
Who's this going to break for? Connor Scully does well. Into the hand of O'Gorman. MacDonald trying to get under this. Ben McSweeney hacked it on. MacDonald couldn't win it cleanly. Trying to rob it back was Jack O'Shea, but it is Faughs' ball. Tom Cullen fouls his man, free in. From a scoreable position as well. Bravely going in for it there was Peter Shaw, and he kind of drew the foul from Cullen.
Yeah, and you'd hope these scores go over for them, because again, I suppose that's where Mahoney is missing from the last day. But again, great work by Connor at 6, and again a really strong battle from the Faughs midfield and half back line. You know, they just need. It's that scoring threat at the minute. It doesn't seem to be as prevalent as what Plunkett's have when they put the ball inside.
James O'Brien standing over the free. He's already nailed 2 from play. Can he get a third from a free? The answer is yes. They're having to work harder for their scores, but they are still getting them. And there's only 3 points in it. What I love about this Faughs team, and I've seen them over the last couple of years, is they absolutely never give up. Sometimes they're a bit better than the sum of their parts. Here's James O'Brien. Thought about shooting. He was closed down very well by Fionn Boland. Then gets his shot away.
Great strike.
That is an absolutely exquisite score. He's some bit of stuff, James O'Brien, isn't he?
He is, and I mentioned the last day as well. I was really impressed with his pace and really impressed with the work rate that he had, and he's driving them on now. That's 2 big scores, only 2 points. Notion it again.
David Phelan wasn't allowed to strike it cleanly. Croke. There's runners inside if he can pick them out. Showing a bit of pace here, trying to break the tackle is Heavey. Heavey drops it, gets it back up again. Couldn't pass it cleanly out of the tackle, but luckily for him it fell to a teammate, and Faughs have got another score. Again, they had to work hard for it. Again, it was well taken. It was Peter Shaw this time, and all of a sudden it's a 1 point game. Yeah,
look, the life over in the line over there as well. Like, Revel is absolutely bouncing off the ground now too. So, like, you know, you'd see what's been said to them at the quarter. They just weren't putting it on the scoreboard, and you have to give it to them now. They've really come back into it. So, Plunkett's have a game under hand now with 1 point in it.
Came off the hand of Cullen, went out for a line ball. It will be struck by Neil Bennett.
Just noticing Kieran Brady down here on the left as well. Like, I had Kieran as a 21. Like, he's a massive loss for them in the half back line as well. So him and Bennett as 2, 24, 25-year-old guys who've played inter-county under 21 with Dublin. Big losses for Faughs.
Neil Bennett, who has been part of Dublin development squads in the past. Cullen intercepted it, but Faughs win it back, and it's farmed out by Sean O'Brien. Breaks kindly for James O'Brien. James O'Brien gets it in hand. Croke is the aim. He was well policed there by David Phelan. Clever ball to Boland. McVeigh, well, he doesn't get the clean possession, but he stops Plunkett's getting the ball up the park quickly, which is what they really want to do. Yeah,
you're right, Hushin. You said it a few minutes ago as well. Like, they'll never ever give up, and I saw that the last day against Bowden as well. Like, there was only a couple of points in it up to half time. If they could go in now at half time, level or a point up, it'd be a super second quarter for them.
Just slipped out of the hand of McSweeney. O'Brien. He moves it out very quickly to Joe Kenny. Joe Kenny aims it down the line to Croke. Croke allows it to beat him. David Phelan did really well now. He's got backup from David Morris. David Morris favoured to win this race and does. And then hits it clear-ish. It was intercepted by Joe Kenny. Might fancy a shot himself. No, moves it inside to McVeigh. The advantage was being played anyway. Free in for Faughs.
He's having a great game, Oisín, Joe Kenny. Like, he's everywhere. Look, he's back down into the corner again. Like, his touch is superb. He's a lot of pace, and this is a chance to level it now. And again, you have to give credit again to the kind of officials there as well. The way they're dealing with it. It's they're allowing the game to flow, but at the same time, over silly stuff like that to get the free to Faughs.
Just his second year playing senior hurling, Joe Kenny. And I'll say first real year, if that makes sense, because last year was kind of an aberration. Hurling without crowds was just a bit strange. I know there was crowds at times, but it was restricted.
Yeah, and look, I was on the line myself last year, and like, you lose a county final or whatever by 2 or 3 points in the end, and there's nobody there. Like, no, it was a strange year. But look, even coming in the car, Dermot Kennedy's on about those great days coming back. So you can see it coming back over the next few weeks, and like, what a few weeks we have to look forward to from a Dublin hurling point of view, club boys as well.
Third wide for Faughs. I was so confident O'Brien would put it over. I actually marked it down, which was silly because now I have to wipe it off. 2 minutes to go to half time. 1 point between them. Faughs have enjoyed the better of it since the water break, but that's a great catch by Tom Cullen, who looks to extend the lead but can't. Fourth wide for Plunkett from a shooting opportunity.
Change.
Well, I wonder, is this tactical or something else? Looks like Tom Cullen is going off. And he has been replaced by Papa, Irinal Papa.
That's a strange one now, because I thought Cullen had fought very hard for a couple of balls there as well that Keane obviously distributed inside. He'd be disappointed with that last wide, but yeah.
Papa's an incredibly hard-working player, as is this man, Killian Hayes, aiming the ball in towards Oisin Boland. Oisin Boland loves shooting from these kind of positions, and you can see why. He's good at it. Second point for him.
Yeah, good wrists, good feet, and again, second point for him. And look, when he's on song and he has a bit of space, Oisin will score points like that all day.
It's very easy to say mark him tight and stick with him. It's harder to do it out there, isn't it? Harder to stay with players like that. Here's Killian Hayes. He's got MacDonald outside. MacDonald kind of tries to paddle it over and doesn't. 5 wides now for Plunkett. Hogan breaks kindly for Faughs. I think that's Heavey who's trying to hoover it up, and does. He's absolutely surrounded, but he keeps a really cool head. Nagel might fancy a go, doesn't. He was closed down. That's blocked down by Boland. Great work from him. Got to McVeigh. McVeigh fights to get it back. Big ruck here. McVeigh has it in hand. He was like a bumper car there for a second. Takes too many steps, and it's a free out.
Yeah, when Heavey gets ball, like his feet, he's great feet. You'd wonder why. Maybe not even having a look at him, kind of getting ball on ball inside. But it was. Look, it's a call. It was steps. Let's be honest about it. It was steps. But after the hard work, they'll just be disappointed that they're going in now, probably 2-3 points down after getting it back within a point. This fella's a serious strike of a ball for a keeper as well. Like he's quite like Nolly with the distance.
Bill McCormick in his third year at the club. Looks like it has the distance. Does it have the accuracy? No. 6th wide for Plunkett. That's it. It's half time. 11 points to 9. It's tight enough as it stands. Plunkett will join Ballyboden in the quarter-finals, but there's a long way to go yet. We'll take a look at the highlights in just a second. But what have you made of the game so far, Joe Fortune?
Yeah, look, it's similar to where Faughs were the last day. They started off really brightly in both quarters. Got the first 2 scores of the first one and the second one. The management team will be very happy with that, but it just seems that scoring thread up front, and I think you've mentioned it a couple of times, of the guys that are missing. Now, look, as a manager, it frustrates me an awful lot when people talk about the people who are not there, but it is a significant loss that they have up front. I wouldn't be surprised in the first couple of minutes of the second half to see Kieran Brady, if he's available, come in. Kieran Brennan, I rate very highly as well. I thought he's very similar to Niall McMurray in stature. I know they're quite good friends as well. So, look, they need something more up front. I don't know if they're getting enough out of David Croke, if I'm being honest. But Plunkett's 2 points up. They won't be happy with their second quarter. But Faughs definitely still in the game.
What do you do about Croke? Because we know he can win ball. Do you bring him back deeper, or how do you get him into the game?
Again, it's a mindset sort of things too. Sometimes you get this bombing high ball in, I suppose from a pace point of view, he needs to win his own ball, which is what he does. But I just think when he hits the ground, and as well, he needs guys feeding off the shoulder. And I've been really, really impressed with young Heavey and his feet. But look, they need to break the ball to ground. They need to make sure that they get him on ball as quickly as possible. But also those scores where they're battling the half forward line, they must be a little bit disappointed with that.
Okay, for now, Joe Fortune, thank you very much. Remember, we'd love to hear from you, no matter where you're watching this game from. You can get us via Twitter, @DubGAAOfficial, and don't forget to hashtag GoAheadDSHA. As it stands, Ballyboden will win the group because they're absolutely cruising against Scully Connell. Well, last we heard it was 2-6 to no score. We'll bring you the latest from that game as we get it. Here, Plunketts are leading by 2 against Faughs. If Plunketts win or draw, they'll go through. Faughs have to win. It's really that simple for them. This is the first of 2 games live on Dubs TV today. A little bit later on, it is the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship clash of St. Bridget's and Coola. Again, that's a kind of a winner-takes-it-all game, to quote ABBA. And we'll bring you that one at 5 o'clock. That's it for now. We'll be back with the second half. You'll still see pictures, but you may not hear sound. We will be back very shortly, though, with the second half of Plunketts against Faughs. Now, the trouble with shorter half times is it means you barely have time to finish your sandwich, so I think I'm done. We should be okay. We're about to start the second half. Plunkett's leading by 2 points, and if they win or draw, they are going through. Faughs have to win. In the other game, Ballyboden 2-14 to 1-1 up against Scull Eoghan. Ballyboden will finish the group with 3 wins. And we're away for the second half. That was a very good piece of play, kicked into the hand of Conor O'Shea. What a fantastic take at the back. Brilliant take by David Morris. Fionn Boland, has he taken too many steps? Stays cool under pressure. More or less threw it off there to Kevin O'Gorman. Kevin O'Gorman back to Fionn Boland. Boland gives this one a bit of air. Really good take. Matched by a very good turn. It's Oisin Boland who received it from his brother. Can he keep it in play? Sean Clerkin. Great ball. He's going for goal. And in the end has to settle for nothing, Ben McSweeney.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that. After some great play there as well, the cornerback came out driving out with the ball there, and great ball inside to Oisin. Again, it's going to be telling now. Can Faughs do what they've done for the last 2 games? Can they get those first couple of scores after the breaks?
McVeigh. Really good tackling there by Fionn Boland, just stuck to his man. Oisin Boland strokes it backwards, looking for Kevin O'Gorman. O'Gorman has Boland as an option now. Boland is slightly closed down, so he has to go longer. A take and turn from Irinel Popa. McDonald. Hayes blocked down. Great stuff from Jack O'Shea. James O'Brien, I beg your pardon. McDonald into the corner. Clerkin comes out to meet it. Clerkin, who has switched corners. It's blocked down and then swept up by Conor O'Shea. Cleared by fullback Gavin Kenny. Doesn't quite break for Faughs. Fergal Heavey was looking to make it his. He couldn't. Now it's David Morris. Faughs through Croak gets it back. Croak, who's been relatively quiet so far in a scoring sense. Inside for Heavey. Heavey! Oh, I think I might have taken a touch either off the post or off the keeper's stick. If it took a touch off Bill McCormack's stick, it's a great save.
Yeah, I think he saved it, to be honest. I doubted Finn McGarry here the last day, and I was showing a couple of video clips for about 2 weeks after. But no, I think he saved it. And look, that was an opportunity for a goal as well. But I think Faughs are a bit, animated on the line there as well about steps, and maybe you can see that it's real energy coming from that line over there, and they're really trying to drive the players on. But that could have easily been a goal, Oisin.
Heavey's first point of the game makes it a 1-point match. In fairness, I did watch that game back, and you would have had to have had absolute eagle eyes to have spotted that save live. Finn McGarry moves faster than cameras. Everyone knows that.
He's like a cat, that fella. Like a cat.
He really is.
Again, if you go ahead with what happens after this, whoever wins this, will play Crokes now in a quarter final, and obviously then with the game afterwards as well, out between Bridget's and Cool, whoever wins that will play Bowden. So there's a lot on the line here for these 4 teams today in Parnell Park.
Bridget's against Coola is live at 5 o'clock here on Dubs TV. Remember, we'd love to hear from you. You can get us on @DubGAAOfficial. Don't forget the hashtag GoAheadDSHA. Slotted out to Paddy Morrissey. It's a cross fielder. Boland gets under it. Great pass inside. Hayes. Drops short and wide. Cliche alert, Joe, but it's about who can cut out the mistakes here. It's very easy to say that, though. How do you do that in such intense and nervous circumstances?
Yeah, look, I think both teams in I suppose in their initial games against Bowden were really go up to the 42nd minute, and were well in the game, and then it kind of faded. But this is really tight, and you can see there's a little bit of nervousness and kind of that tentativeness inside in the forward line as well. I think they need to get Heavey on more ball for me with Faughs. I'm not sure they're getting enough out of David Croak.
They are making a change. It'll be interesting to see who will come in. Well, he wasn't named to start, Liam Mostyn, but he is, after coming in, he's injured, so that's probably why he didn't start, coming off his Peter Shaw, who got 2 points in the first half. He is also on a yellow card. Maybe that's part of the thinking. That's an excellent line ball. Oh, it falls in behind. It's Mostyn. What an impact. Straight off the bench, and his first touch is a goal.
What a score, like what a line ball as well. And you know, like I've been critical of Croke, like using his body a bit more because he's a big unit of a fella, and you know, he broke the ball in, and Jesus, looked really, really good to get inside in behind, and you know, a real sniper goal, and what a start for young Mostyn.
I was speaking to someone from Faughs before the game, and they said he's only a kid, but he's very talented. We're seeing that already in this game, despite the fact that he's only on the field a couple of minutes. Speaking of talent, here's Cian Boland, who hits it over. Great score from Cian Boland, his first.
Yeah, it's probably scored today, like when you look where he was as well, and distance out, but there's another change I think happening there now. I'm wrong.
O'Brien.
Oh,
high tackle. Free for Faughs. Well, Clerkin is saying that O'Brien could have dipped into it, but it is a free. His hands were rather high, or his arm was rather high. Emmett McKenna will strike this one. With the club his whole life, his dad also played. Actually played on that Super 11 trip to Boston a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him the last 2 days I've seen him now. He's great hands, and you know, he's athletically wise very, very good.
Hasn't caught that one right. Or well, maybe he was intending to drop it in towards Croke, who got his stick on it but couldn't get it up. Mostyn was running after it as well. They've got the same colour helmet, Mostyn and Croke. Luckily there is a bit of a difference in height, so it's easy to tell them apart. Neither team taking a step back there. And we will go for a clash ball.
You'd wonder at some stage, Ush, will they look at Keane being further up the field? Like his distribution is brilliant, but you'd wonder, like, do they need that scoring threat up there? Because Niall has gone quiet in the last while, as has young Clerkin as well.
That one's kicked out of play by Brian MacDonald. It's another line ball. Faughs scored last time they had a line ball. It's rolled into the path of Mostyn. Fionn Boland just doesn't let him go. The brother comes in for backup. It's a free in. Faughs beginning to dominate in a physicality sense.
Yeah, like you said it earlier on, and again you look over to that line, like it's such a traditional, strong hurling club in Dublin, and like I was impressed the last day when I saw the young players that they had and how they sit up defensively. You know, they've gone back to 6. They've brought out a third midfielder, obviously, but this is a seriously tough free, but it's an important one because you're looking at 8 minutes into the second half, going 2 points up.
James O'Brien. From a very tight angle, the breeze is against him, but it's not much of a breeze. That's an excellent score.
Super free.
James O'Brien has been immense today. Played under 20 for Dublin. And as we say, a third generation Faughs hurler. Batted down into the path of Hennessy. Trying to come out of defence is Conor O'Shea. He's fouled on the way out. And a couple of the Faughs players are giving it the full Milan fist pump.
Yeah, O'Shea's done well all day. Like he's smart. He knows when to break that ball out from that 6th position. Like, you know, and maybe not as athletic as some 6s, but he's a hard man to stop in the air.
It was Ronan Hennessy who was giving that fist pump. Croke takes a ball and is fouled, and that's what Faughs need from him.
Good refereeing as well there, Rushing. Like, you know, he's right up beside it and he sees there's a little tug. And another free for Faughs, another score on the board here, which will obviously put them 3 points up.
If you're watching this from Plunkett's or Faughs, then you already know whoever wins here goes through. I just felt the need to clarify that for people who are just dropping in on this game, may not be aware of the situation in the group. Ballyboden will win it. They're beating Scully Cunliffe, beating them well. James O'Brien taps it over. His third free of the game. He scored 6 points overall.
Yeah, he's been impressive. He was actually impressive the last day here as well. Like, he's a great turn of pace, and he's taken up that mantle as well of the free taking that we worried about at the start. And like Johnny and the lads on the line with Faughs over there will be very happy here now with this third quarter.
Ronan Hennessy, a perfectly delivered ball to James O'Brien, who's looking dangerous again, and he has clipped over his fourth from play.
He's really lifting them up now. Like, you know, this is a big question asked now for Plunkett here. Like, you know, can they change something? Again, I still think Keane bowling is too deep.
Ronan Hennessy delivering a perfect ball to James O'Brien. Hennessy is one of the elder lemons of the Faughs squad, like yourself, Joe, a school teacher.
Yeah.
Great catch, brilliant catch by Niall Arthur. Has to go off the stick here, and does. And that's a really good score by Niall Arthur.
A good score, good wrists. You know, we were probably thinking he was going to take too much out of it again, but a good score and good reaction from Plunkett's.
McKenna receives. Hennessy was the aim of that pass, but it's intercepted by Hayes. Hayes marauding forward, then cuts backwards. Boland. He's distributed well today. He does it again now. Running onto it is Ben McSweeney. Only 1 point so far. Can he get a second here, or at the very least win a free? I was going to say at the very least deliver a pass, but ref blew the whistle. Free in, better than a pass.
Yeah, McSweeney's a fine player. Again, good ball by Keane. Look, I can see the thinking and why you'd have him there. You know, he's in a 5 position there, but I just think Keane is better up the field. Now I know they have a threat there with Arthur and Hugh McSweeney as well, but I just think I'd love to see him up at 10 or 12 for a while. Killian Hayes getting through an awful lot of work in the middle of the field there as well. Looks like a young Keane ball, and I remember Keane looking at that like that at one stage, but getting through a lot of work in the middle of the field.
I'm jealous of Killian Hayes' long locks.
I'll leave that to you then.
Arthur taps it over.
Arthur needs a new hurl, but they haven't seen it yet. It's broken that with the free.
O'Brien has a swing off that and does get something on it. Battling for it is McVeigh. Pops up and is caught by Nagel. Hennessy. Good take by Conor O'Shea. Surrounded and ambushed, but Ronan Hennessy tries to win it back. He can't. Here's Clerkin. Clerkin loses it. Referee says it was handled on the ground. It's a free into Faughs. Little bit of afters. No one wants to pick up a unnecessary card here, so calm down is the advice.
Yeah, harmless enough now, to be honest.
Yeah.
And again, referee right beside it, and yeah, look, probably a little bit unlucky to take it, but I think Chris got the call right there.
James O'Brien to strike it, looking to restore a 3-point lead. Has the height and elevation, but not the accuracy.
And they're big frees, Oisin. Like, you know, again, a couple of minutes before the end of the third quarter, like he needs to be nailing them to kind of really put the foot on the throat here.
Pop-up skips it down the line for Arthur. Arthur has O'Donnell inside. Loses it. He was ambushed there by Faughs. James O'Brien coming out to meet it as Moston. Beaten to it though by Conor Scully. Scully's one of the more hard-working players in this team. He's turned over Neil Bennett. Couldn't find his intended target. Here's Fionn Boland. Good tackling there by Faughs. Conor O'Shea tries to make it his. He's being followed by MacDonald. Lovely bit of skill by Neil Bennett. Improvised well. James O'Brien couldn't get it into the hand. Now battling for it is Nagel. These rucks so important in modern hurling.
Faughs are winning all those rucks, so that they're battling so hard for every ball. It's just that end ball is just letting them down a small bit.
Pop up. James O'Brien didn't give him any time or space. Pop up eventually does regather. Here's Boland. He's going for that.
Yep.
And he gets it. Wonderful score from Boland. His second of the game.
Yeah, serious distance as well. Like, and he's well able to he's well able to shoot from there as well, and has been all over the years as well, and loves Parnell Park for the, I suppose, for the distance where he's coming from. But Faughs will be disappointed because they're working so hard. But again, Plunkett's now, in fairness to them, their leaders are appointing it again.
McVeigh was tying his lace, but now he's back up and running. Plunkett's trying to dispossess Joe Kenny there. It falls kindly though for Faughs. McVeigh has it now. Hand pass out to Paddy Morrissey. Morrissey into the corner. It's met by Mostyn. Mostyn up against Boland. He's lost his hurley. James O'Brien thought about shooting. Plays a crossfielder. Perfect delivery to McKenna. McKenna trying to nail it, and not doing so.
What a ball by young O'Brien there. Like, he's a fine player and he's doing really, really well there today. And look, again, just a little bit of a disappointing end to the kind of after a really good move.
As it stands, it is Faughs who are going through to the next round, but there's a lot of hurling to play. Arthur. He's never afraid to take on the pressure shots, and that's why he's good at them. It's his fourth from play.
Yeah, and like, what a score out from the sideline, and when they really need it to level things back up. We're going to have a very exciting last quarter, I'd say, because I think the ref will call it soon enough now for this one.
We're very close to the water break. Ronan Hennessy moves it on well. Conor O'Shea looking for Croke. Croke turns on it. The defender got something on him, just kind of stifled him a bit. He did enough. Bill McCormack. Paddy Morrissey underneath this one along with Oisin Boland. Cleaned up by Conor O'Shea. Back out to Paddy Morrissey. Morrissey, lovely stick pass taken well by Sean O'Brien. Sean O'Brien moved it on to Ronan Hennessy. Hennessy is aiming it towards Croke. Mostyn is going to go in and back him up. Surely that's a free. It's a foul by Kevin O'Gorman. He might pick up a card for that as well. And before the water break, Faughs will have the chance to go in front.
Yeah, not the easiest free now, in fairness, to level it up, and it was definitely a good call again by the ref. But you see when O'Shea gets on the ball, like he doesn't hit an aimless ball in, and they're looking for, I suppose Mostyn has had a big influence since he's come back in, and they're getting a little bit more maybe out of that inside line. But again, I'd be looking for more out of Heavey. Anytime I've seen him, he's been so impressive, and James obviously has been doing really well at 11.
That Mostyn goal at the start of the second half was absolutely huge for Faughs. As it stands, by the way, it's Plunkett who go through because the draw works for them. Faughs have to win. Ballyboden will top the group at half time. They were leading 2-14, 2-1-1 against Scully Connell. O'Brien puts it over. Faughs lead, and that's the water break. Well, let's have a look at some of the highlights of the second half so far. Worryingly enough, by the way, for Plunkett's, Brian McDonald is receiving some treatment. Let's hope for him he's okay. He'd be a huge loss. Let's have a look at some of these highlights. Joe Fortune.
Yeah, look, again, when you look at the standard of that save, like, it was an opportunity probably for a goal, and Faughs, like, when they get inside and when they get the right ball into the forwards, like, what an impact this fella had. Like, inside, bang, sniper, back of the net. Only on the field for less than a minute, but when they get the ball inside, they're impressive. And you can see here again from the clips, like, obviously Keane Boland has had a couple of very good scores there, very influential scores from long distance. And also Niall Arthur's had a couple of ones too. He's come back into it. But look, I think overall, like, this is a big test now for both of these teams. Who wants to play Crokes in a quarter final of a Dublin Championship? Obviously Faughs got there last year. Plunketts have come up over the last couple of years. So I'm sure Derek Brennan now and Johnny Greville are over there, and they're laying it on the line that this is all about getting to the next level now, whoever wants it the most.
Johnny Greville, the Faughs manager, Derek Brennan, the Plunkett's manager. I can tell you at the water break in O'Toole Park, in the other game in the group, which has no real bearing on this match, Ballyboden leading 2-18, 2-1-7 against Scull Eoghan. It looks like Scull Eoghan will get the wooden spoon in this group. Just to clarify, by the way, in case you're wondering, relegation is not exactly what you call straightforward this year. It's basically done over the results of 5 years, so that's how it will be done. So I don't think I'll be able to tell you as the games move on how exactly things will be affected there. There is relegation, but it's not relegation as you might know it. So just to clarify that, as it stands in this group, Plunkett's are going out, Faughs are going through, and Ballyboden are winning the group. Who has got what left in them? It's the final 15 minutes plus injury time. Well, we stopped at 17 minutes 11 seconds, but you know what I mean. We're into the final quarter. Someone is staying in and someone is going out of the Go Ahead Dublin Senior Club Hurling Championship. Who is it going to be? And don't forget, by the way, at 5 o'clock, Bridget's against Coola. To go all Sky Sports dramatic, a giant will fall there. One of them is going out. Coola missing a lot of the players that you might know in the last couple of years, but they still have an awful lot of talent. It would still be a shock for them to go out in the first round. Papa catches it. His brother on the bench today. It's turned over brilliantly. McVeigh and O'Brien combining. And the free in given to Faughs.
Like when they get ball into that half forward line, like we said so many times, they're so pacey. And when you see O'Brien and Heavey, and they've really have a great way to turn the feet and to take on a half back line. So look, if he can get this here now, it's a good start for them. And I don't know, I've said it a million times maybe in the last couple of games that I've done, but they seem to always get that score or two after the quarter. So whatever's been said to them, if we could just get more messages in at a more consistent basis, they might actually score more.
O'Brien fancies this. The breeze is against him, but distance shouldn't be an obstacle. You can tell by the reaction from the Faughs bench. From the moment he struck it, they knew it was going over. It's his fourth free of the game, and his team lead by 2. Ronan Hennessy finds McKenna. McKenna allows it to beat him. McVeigh cleverly sweeping it into the path of Neil Bennett. Bennett aims it down towards Mostyn, who's breaking out to meet it. Mostyn surrounded by 3, but still takes it in hand. James O'Brien. Mostyn wants it back. He doesn't get it.
Ball.
But it's a great ball to Heavey, who taps it over for his second. It actually moved so fast there, I didn't see the pass just as it was delivered. You spotted it because you're eagle-eyed, but what a ball it was. You're absolutely right.
Like, he's done it 2 or 3 times. I tell you, that fella's phone will be on, I'd say, for the next couple of weeks now, because he might get a call up for some sort of a panel, because for me, like, his eyes and his wrists and his sight, like, pace, he's all of the attributes, and they're a young team, Oisin. Like, Faughs are well coached. You can see by them that they're not going to lie down here, and I suppose they're going back up to 3 points ahead now. It's a big challenge here for Plunkett.
They do love a challenge though, Plunkett. Here's Arthur trying to win the possession. Plunkett have made a change, by the way. Neil Clerkin has come in. Brother of Sean, who started. Conor O'Shea pokes it into a bit of space. Chased down by Oisin Boland. Conor O'Shea, a big player for Faughs in every possible sense of the word. And that's a line ball for Faughs. I'm going to say something which may be explainable, but maybe it isn't. The breaks have gone Faughs' way in the second half, but they've made them go their way.
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of clarified the end of that statement, because I would have disagreed with the first part. I think they've really worked hard, Oisin, to allow that to happen, and it doesn't happen by chance. I think you're dead on the mark there. Like, they've really worked hard in every line of the field, and if they can put another score or 2 on the board here now, it's going to be very hard for Plunkett to get back into it.
Still just a 3-point game though. A goal would be huge for Plunkett's. 10 minutes to go.
Some energy off the line. Like, geez, I missed that part of it. Now I have to say, look over there, and the energy that's coming off that Faughs bench.
Well, we'll see it next year with you in Westmeath, or we'll feel it. Clerkin. Brian McDonald is in there. It could be dangerous if it drops. Keeper does well. Cleverly batted it out to Hennessy. Hennessy didn't take it, but Joe Kenny did. Oh, it's intercepted. Here's Boland. Boland's going for it and getting it. What a finish by Cian Boland.
And there's the difference now in having him in the forwards. It's just when the ball breaks, he strike again. There's another keeper in the country would have stopped that, and again just drop to the right man. And now Faughs have an uphill battle again after all the hard work.
And it was a situation of their own making there. They should have just cleared it.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed with that, because they kind of over elaborated that pass out. But you can't underestimate or under speculate the kind of talent that Keane has to get on that kind of a breaking ball.
116 apiece. It's all square, which means as it stands, Plunketts are going through. Hayes. Clerkin has a look up, sails it into the air.
Some score.
And puts it over. His second of the game.
And watch Boland now, you can see him, like he's driving the lads on around him, like he's been quite enough by his own standards, but now you can see the body is starting to roar in him, like, and he doesn't want to be put out too early in this championship.
Faughs have responded every time the Plunketts have pushed them. Here's Boland. It's hard to stop this kind of quality. Cian Boland.
Yep.
What a score. 1-1 in the space of the last couple of minutes, and it's turned things around. His team lead by 2.
Ref's gone in here now. I think that an issue inside with the umpire. But look, I saw Keane. Look, I was lucky enough to have Keane for a couple of years with Dublin, and even in 16 when we won the Leinster final, he was incredible. Even on the darker, harder days against Galway in Ireland semi-final, that man just doesn't know when to stop. Like, he keeps going all the time. So he's really turned it around here now for Plunketts. But again, like, look, there's still something left, I think, in Faughs, and they'll really have to lift the heads now. They'll need that bit of leadership from the older guys like Connor and that to really drive it on for the last 10 minutes or so.
Eddie Hogan may well be injured, but it's no harm for Faughs to stop this Plunkett's momentum, if I can put it that way. I know I have a very cynical view of the world, don't I, Joe?
No.
It's clever. If he's not injured, that's clever. If he is injured, then that's unfortunate.
Been a very honest game as well, though. Very, like, refed well, no dirty strikes, like everything was in on the ball, and in fairness, like, 2 very well matched teams. But obviously a big game coming up now in about 50 minutes time as well.
A very quick 1-2 for Plunkett's has them in charge. Ballyboden 218 to 1-7 up against Scully Connell when last we heard. Swept up by Clerkin. Neil Clerkin perhaps looking for Arthur, who he does find. Arthur has an option in Boland. Oisin rather than Cian. Goes for it himself and puts it over. And it's a 3-point game in favour of Plunkett's all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're two talismen in regards to guys that have had that inter-county experience in Arthur and Boland have really come to the fore now, and Faughs need to win a ball here now on the half-forward line.
Croke couldn't make it stick. Free in for Faughs. A break goes their way. James O'Brien to make it a 2-point game and set up a grandstand finish. Bridget's against Kula, live at 5 o'clock here on Dubs TV. Those two teams have some job to do to match up to the excitement of this one. Faughs making a change. Neil Bennett is going off. And coming in is Kieran Brennan. He's a man that you were surprised not to see from the start.
Yeah, like Kieran was a minor in. I had him in 07, but Kieran was a year in 08, I think. Very good friends with Niall McMurray, and again would have been, over the course of the years, I would have been very impressed with him as a forward for Faughs. Maybe he's carrying an injury, and I suppose coming to 31, 32 now as well, similar to yourself.
You're being very kind. Brennan also played underage with Dublin way back when, around a long time. His father Gus, a Faughs stalwart. Emmett Brennan tries to get it into the hand, he can't. Real battle for it over there. Faughs win the line ball. 2 between them. As it stands, Plunkett's join Ballyboden in the next round. Good air on that one. Just goes over the stick of Croke. Trying to run onto it there was Niall Fitzgibbon. Couldn't get to it. Here's Hayes. Lovely ball from Hayes. Bit of a miscue of a hand pass. Arthur tries to retrieve it. Directs it back into the path of Boland, who's lost it. Here's McKenna. Mostyn spills it. Boland sweeps it up, receives a bit of a hit from Heavey, but did well. David Phelan. Does that have the legs? If it does, it's some score. It does have the legs, but it doesn't have the accuracy off the stick of Ben McSweeney, I should say. and it's gone wide. Hogan. Tapped on there by Kieran Brennan. Boland back there to win it again. He has been amazing today, Cian Boland. Brian MacDonald tries to get there. He is vastly outnumbered. It's Clerkin. Neil rather than Sean. Clash of heads, so we'll have to stop play. I hope it's coming across at home, but from our vantage point, we can see and feel the intensity here. Both teams are battling. Both teams are leaving absolutely nothing out there.
Yeah, look, and again, we said at the very start, I was driving up the road this morning from a meeting just up past the Ibis Hotel there on the Naas Road, and I saw a couple of lads sitting outside, and they looked like they were going to a championship match. And look, I'm not going to lie to you, Oisín, like, you put so much work in all year as a management team and as a group of players, and all of a sudden then it comes to the first Saturday in October, and for one of the teams here today, for two teams out of the four, it's the end of the club year for them. So look, we've got a couple of minutes, 4 minutes here now. It looks like Plunkett's just might get over the line unless Faughs can get that goal.
Well, Clerkin's okay, as is the Faughs player who was involved in that particular incident. We will have a clash ball. We'll also have a bit more injury time thanks to that. It's in the hands of Heavey. He dropped it under pressure. We might have to go for another clash ball here. It's stolen away by Cullen. Gives it back to his brother Clerkin, I beg your pardon.
That's a serious score.
The Clerkin brothers combine, and Sean gets his third of the game.
Yeah, and it's again, you talk about symbols and whatever. Like Faughs have won all those ground balls, all those rucks, and that's the first one you've really seen Plunkett's come out with, and they get a great score from it. 3
between them. We're going into the last minute. We will have a lot of injury time. Croke couldn't take the pass. Launched by Clerkin again, but to no one in particular, and the keeper allows it to bounce wide. Referee wants a word with someone there. There was maybe a hit off the ball or something. Not quite sure what happened.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a swipe, but I think it's go ahead. Let them have it.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, they don't hold up a board here in Parnell Park, so I don't know how much injury time there is. James O'Brien is being spoken to. No, it's not James O'Brien. I think it's Brennan. It is Brennan. A yellow card for Brennan. Plunketts have owned the third quarter. Niall Arthur has a free from a long way out. This to put 4 between them. And while it wouldn't guarantee the win, it certainly would put down a healthy deposit. Arthur. I think this might drop. Who's it going to drop to? Faughs have it back. How big a moment is that for... Oh, it's a penalty. Well, that's a huge call.
Again, you look inside and and you talk about club games and you put so much on the line in training and all that kind of stuff, but you can see the way it's been officiated here today as well. Like, everyone's earpieced. That was a call as well, I think, from the umpire that was in there as well. You can see it all being like, look, you've got 3 of the top refs in Dublin, 2 linesmen and Chris as well in the middle of the field, but that's what you want if the call is to be made, if that's what it was, and it looked like there was a bit of a drag there, unfortunately, or a bit of a pull on the ground. So look, Faughs be disappointed. I feel for them because they've worked so hard, and they're a very well set up team, but it looks now that Plunketts might get this.
Does Arthur tap it over, yes or no?
From my point of view?
Yeah. What would you do?
Put it over the bar, yeah.
Put him over?
Yeah. But you wouldn't tell Paul Ryan that?
No. Arthur taps it over. Plunkett's by 4. It means Faughs now need 2 scores. And again, because the board doesn't go up here, I don't know how much injury time there is. At the moment, it's looking good for Faughs.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's what I saw. The hand going up there.
Well, that means that Faughs have time. 3.5 minutes. More than enough time to get what they need. But not if this man has anything to do with it. Once again, it's Cian Boland who's back to win it. He's an absolute warrior. Here's Hayes. That's not a good ball. Maybe you heard the expression of frustration there. Oisín Boland wins it. Oisín Boland has done really well. He's smothered there, and it falls kindly for Heavey. Heavey is tangled up by Clerkin. Gets out of that octopus tackled up. Here's McKenna. They have to get a goal, Faughs. They're trying to work one here. Mostyn's chasing after it, as is Fionn Boland. Fionn Boland wins the race. Croke. Clerkin is back there defending. Croke has won the possession, he's won the free. So Faughs, I guess, will just tap this one over and then take their chances with the next possession.
A bit of afters there as well, so you might move it in a small bit.
They've 2.5 minutes, they've plenty of time. There's no need to panic and try and work a goal from here. Or will he do a Paul Flynn, James O'Brien? Younger viewers might want to Google that, but believe me, it is worth it. As are the stories around it. Apparently Dan Shanahan kept saying to Sean Ogue, he's going for goal here. It's wide.
Yeah, it was a tough free. Look, it was a tough free. It's you can't underestimate that as well, with that bit of pressure for him too.
2 minutes of injury time to go. It's looking good for Plunkett, but it's not done yet for Faughs. Plunketts have made a change. They've brought in Brian O'Sullivan, who's going straight into the forward line. And going off is Oisín Boland, who scored 2 points today. He worked very hard.
He did well and got 2 good scores. He's put his body on the line and around that middle third as well to break ball down, so he'll be happy with his day's work.
Next possession vital. Faughs have to win it, but they don't. Ben McSweeney. McSweeney uses his footballing skills but commits a foul and it's a free out. Paddy Morrissey is, I think, feeling a bit of cramp. Hogan launches it. Drops kindly for Plunkett's. Here's Hayes. Trying to meet it is McSweeney. He does, but he can't take it in hand. Here's Sean O'Brien. McSweeney robs it back. It's left behind there. They could be in here. Will this be the winner from Brian O'Sullivan? No, it's wide. Hogan goes long. And now Faughs really are running out of time. Krug looks to me like he's fouled. So again, Faughs will probably just put over this free and then hope to win the possession and get a goal. But a draw isn't much good to them. Krug feeling the after effect of that particular tackle. O'Brien to keep Faughs alive. Comes off the woodwork. Might still work out for Faughs. Plunkett's desperate to get it clear, to get it out to Hayes. I imagine he'll just smack it as long as he can. No, he won't, because Clerkin was waiting for it. Arthur had Boland running off him. Boland, it would be appropriate if he was to get the last score of this game. Boland. Yep. That should be that. Plunkett's are going through.
Yeah, look, Keane has had a great game when he really needed him. Himself and Arthur linked up really well there as well. Like, you know, even Arthur wanted it back again, but look, I'm not under, you know, we're not surprised with that. Keane is the standout player out in the field today by a mile.
I think there's something appropriate and maybe even poetic about Arthur and Boland combining for what should be the last score of the game.
Yeah, look, when they were needed, they stood up, they were 3 points down with whatever 7 or 8 minutes to go. And you know, when they really needed a leader, Keane got on that broken ball and finished the goal. 5
between them. Faughs need 2 goals. I don't think they're going to have time to get them. They won't give up, that's for sure and certain. Now it's swept up by David Phelan. Hayes. McDonald. That's it. Plunkett's are through. Faughs are out. 122 to 117 the final score.
Yeah, it means a lot to them. You look down there now, and we spoke about this weekend. You know, this is what it's about. Like, you go on to the next day now to play Crokes in a quarter final. It's hard looking Faughs. You know, I was impressed with them the last day at times against Bowden. They're a young team. You know, they're going to need leadership now from the older players. And I suppose, you know, when you're a club player and you exit before the quarter-finals, it's hard because you're facing into an October, November, December. You know, it'll be before Santa and whatever else arrives before they get back training again. But look, they're a good young team, well structured. But you have to give the Plunketts, like, they really responded when they needed men. And Keane, and I was impressed with a number of them, to be honest with you. McSweeney was very, very good at times. Jack O'Shea, Fionn Boland. all in all, overall, look, they deserved it for that final quarter.
They both left it all out there, but Plunkett's maybe had that bit more quality in the end. Faughs, they might be thinking to themselves, well, what would have happened had we been able to start Mostyn? What would have happened if Chris Bennett was available? What would have happened if Carlo Mahoney was around? He missed out through injury. Those are all the things that you wonder about, but can do nothing about for the next couple of months. All you can do is maybe plan ahead. For Plunkett's, they're planning for the quarter-final. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of this game.
Yeah, and again, like you have to go back to the significant parts, that roles that people played. Like Faughs had really good opening starts to the first and second quarter, and that third quarter they were electric, you know, in 3-4 points up, and maybe we thought that Plunkett's may lay down, but you know, you look at some of the scores that they got, and Keane got some very long distance ones as well, which were significant, but they'll be disappointed to concede this goal. Like, they came out, they had the ball, Keane was smart, tipped the ball over the top, and look, when he's that ball in hand from 14 yards, there's only one place it's going, into the back of the net.
Cian Boland with an excellent goal. He was probably the difference today.
He was, yeah, but you'd expect that as well. Like, Oisin, like, let's be honest about it. He was one of Dublin's best players last year as well. And one thing that stood out to me from watching in here and watching at home is that the guys that have come off that Dublin panel seem to be performing at a significant level over the course of the club games, which is important for Matty going forward as well.
It is indeed. Faughs fought well today, but Plunkett's just, well, they always picked it up when they absolutely needed to. A word for James O'Brien, the number 11 for Faughs.
Yeah, I really like him. I said it in here when we were in the last day as well. Really like his athleticism, like his vision is very, very good, and he's had a really good club championship. And look, it's not something today that, you know, that will be any sort of a remedy to him. But again, Arthur was smart here. Like as you said, you know, there's very few free takers apart from maybe Ryan that might go for that. You know, when you're 3 points up, you just needed that insurance score.
Well, Faughs are out, but I don't think you can fault their effort today. They were up against a good Plunkett's team. Of course, earlier in the group they were beaten by Ballyboden. Ballyboden will very much be in the conversation for the winning of the championship. They're through, by the way, as they were even before today, but they're through in style, having beaten Scull Eoghan and beaten them well. 227 to 1-9, the latest score I'm hearing from there. I don't know if that's a full time or not, but either way it's looking good for Ballyboden. Plunkett's against Chemical Crooks in the quarter-final. What kind of game do you think that will be? Do you give Plunkett a chance?
Well, look, they're in it. They have a chance. They have a better chance now than some of the teams will have after this weekend, because they're in a quarter-final. But look, if you're Derek Brennan over there now, you know you have a mammoth task ahead. You're facing into, probably between themselves and the Fianna, have been the most impressive teams since the start of this Dublin Championship. But yeah, look, they'll take a shot at them, and you know, the Crooks for me looked really impressive the last day. You know, Considine is back on form again, and obviously Hazer is flying. So Oisin, that role he has in around the middle. So look, I think Crooks will have a big say in this Dublin Championship this year, and they're managed and run really well, and they seem to be really up for the battle. But look, there's lots of photographs that are happening over there now, and look, you know yourself, you know, when you see the man with the beard and the glasses coming towards you on a day like today, you know you've won. So you know, it's funny, people want interviews when you win, and people want to chat to you when you win. But I feel for the Faughs lads too, because they've been up against, you know, Eoghan Mahoney was a big loss for them, and but you have to give it to Plunkett's when it was needed, when Cian Boland was needed, and you know, when leadership was needed as well from some of their older guys, that they stood up, and you have to give it to them. It's a good win for them today. Okay,
for now, Joe Fortune, thank you very much. Plunkett's are through to the quarter-finals. They've beaten Faughs 122 to 117. Remember, you can watch this game back in full via Dubs TV. Coming up at 5 o'clock, it's St. Bridget's against Coola, and it's pretty much a knockout game. Whoever wins goes through to the next round. We'd love to hear from you, no matter where you're watching these games. You can get us on Twitter at DubGAAOfficial, and you can use the hashtag GoAheadDSHA. As I say, Coola against Bridget's is on at 5 o'clock. Let's hope the weather doesn't break, because it's perfect conditions for hurling as we speak. In the first of our doubleheader today, Plunkett's have done what they've needed to do. They've beaten Faughs 122 to 117 for now. Thank you and good luck.